Led by their indomitable king, Gen Greymane, the proud citizens of Gilneas once stood with the Alliance against the vile, orcish horde that sought to conquer all of Lordaeron. Gilneas survived, but in the chaotic years following the Second War, the mighty kingdom drew ever inward. Distrustful of their former allies, the Gilneans erected a mighty wall at the borders of their land, closing off their nation and their hearts from an ever-darkening world. Now, many years later, as the seemingly unstoppable undead scourge marches across Lordaeron, human civilization once again teeters on the brink of destruction. As war and terror close in all around them, the citizens of Gilneas are faced with one terrible truth. Their mighty wall cannot hold back the dead for much longer. And worse, rumors of a new threat have arisen within the kingdom's borders, of feral nightmare creatures that walk upright as men, but hunt and howl as wolves.
We protected Gilneas from the Scourge. We protected Gilneas during the Northgate Rebellion. We will protect Gilneas from whatever this new threat may be. Stand ready, guards. We don't know how many intruders we're dealing with, but the headlands are overrun and we're cut off from the harbor towns. Expect to be outnumbered. I want the perimeter secured and the gates manned by 2 guards at all times. No one gets in, no one gets out.
What are you still doing here, citizen? Haven't you heard? The city's under complete lockdown. Go see Lieutenant Walden. He'll give you further directions for evacuation. Deep claw marks run through the man's corpse. The lieutenant appears to have died from severe wounds. The prince might want to hear about this news. You hear the sound of fighting coming from the market.
For my people.
It's you again. Looks like you're not one to hide in the face of danger. Very well then. Worgen, my father, had warned me that Archmage Arugul's creations had run amok. But where are they coming from? I suppose it doesn't matter. Help us make quick work of them. We'll show them what Gilneans are made of. He mentions Arugul, dude from the dungeon right across the way here. What's the connection there? Do you remember?
Well, Archmage Arugul was the one who originally, like in the original lore, he started the Worgen curse, but and that's why people think it's him.
Oh.
They're his creations, but it's not quite like that. That's where they're thinking all these are coming from, but they just don't understand why there's so many of them and where they're all.
I see. It's no use. They're not letting up.
For my people.
It's time for you to leave. Go to the military district with the other civilians. Check in with Gwen Armstead when you cross the bridge to the southeast. See if everyone's okay. I will stay here with the guards and cover the civilians' retreat. Go now. That's an order.
Get gabbing or get going.
We're all fine here. A little shaken, but alive. Most of us made it here alive, but there are Worgen on the other side of the city as well. We're going to continue heading south once everyone's accounted for. That reminds me, someone was asking about you. A fellow by the name of Cleese said you were one of his students and wanted to make sure you were alright.
Farewell.
Where have you been? Anyway, it's great to see you in one piece. I've taught you all that is practical for now. It is time we join with the other survivors. The others mentioned that King Greymane and his royal guard are just south of here. We should go there and seek safety in numbers. You've done well in coming here. If we Gilneans stick together, we might yet defeat this terrible enemy. Lord Darius Crowley has been called many things. Rebel, traitor, terrorist. Before the Civil War, I called him friend. I never blamed him for leading an insurrection against me. His lands and people were separated from Gilneas by a stone wall, but we had no choice. Regardless, Crowley is exactly the type of person we need now. Enter Stoneward Prison and ask Captain Broderick about Crowley's whereabouts. I'd send my own men, but there's still bad blood.
The Alliance must endure. What now?
We have to leave Crowley in prison with those beasts. Fine by me if King Greymane wants you to risk your life to rescue a known traitor. Do me a favor and do something useful while you're out there and kill these cursed flea bags.
You have my undivided attention.
Greymane wants to save Crowley? Has he gone mad? I don't understand why the king wants to waste time saving his hide, but if you want to risk your life, then be my guest. Crowley and his men are holed up upstairs, probably plotting against the king as we speak.
Watch your back.
Greymane's right. These beasts do not give a damn about our politics. Gilneans need to stand together. One of those mangy flea bags got Dempsey real good. We cannot move him until we stabilize his bleeding. Give us a hand holding back these mongrels. A couple of minutes is all we need. We did it. Thanks to you, a good man has survived. Listen, for the first time since the Civil War, I agree with Greymane. Now's the time to put aside our quarrel. It sure doesn't look like these beasts care much whether you're a rebel or a royal. Send word back to Greymane. My men will join his. There's a safe house not far from here, in Josiah's cellar. My lads stashed some heavy artillery there. Tell our king that my arsenal are now at his disposal. What are we talking about? Civil War? What is this?
Well, when Greymane, after the Second War, like Warcraft 2, Greymane decided that he didn't want to pay for the Orcish internment camps. That's why they started to build the wall to wall themselves off. Now, Crowley was probably second in command in Gilneas next to the king, and all of his lands were outside the wall. So all of his lands and his people were cut off from the rest of Gilneas by the wall being built. So he was like, hey, you're cutting us off from my people. I don't like that. I think we shouldn't be building a wall, yada, yada, yada. And he rebelled. So that's why he's in prison here.
I see. I mentioned it was something was mentioned, the Northgate Rebellion. Is that what that is?
That's what that is. It's a rebellion over that gate to the north.
Very well named, Blizzard. Thank you for that. Rebel arsenals in my own city. What in the bloody hell was Crowley up to? The arsenal Crowley speaks of is in the cellar of a building just west of here. It is unnerving that artillery was smuggled inside the city by my enemies, yet it might end up saving Gilnean lives today. Find Josiah Avery and requisition any rebel artillery. We will put the weapons to good use.
What can I do for you?
Don't look at me. Leave me alone.
Keep your chin up, mate.
Oh. You've been bitten by a worgen. It's probably nothing, but it sure stings a little.
Make it quick.
He turned into one of them, didn't he? How do we even begin to fight an enemy that can do this to us? My father's arsenal is certainly a good start, I suppose. Worgen are hiding in the alleys ahead. Take one of my mastiffs to find them more easily. We're going to need to clear the way ahead if we're going to move these cannons above ground.
This mastiff will help you find the hidden worgen. Make it quick.
Excellent. I'll start rounding up some help to get these cannons positioned. We'll take it from here. Tell King Greymane that my father's arsenal will be at his disposal. There's more than enough firepower here to blow the worgen from here to the North Sea.
Hail, champion.
I knew Crowley would come through. His weapons will be more than useful to us. All these years after the war, and Crowley was still hiding enough firepower in that cellar to level half of the district. It might have to come to that, unfortunately. We can't open fire just yet. There's a civilian trapped on the other side of the prison. Not just any civilian, either. Krenin Aranus is one of the most brilliant alchemists this world has known. One of his potions saved my daughter, Tess, from dying soon after being born. Take my horse and rescue him. Krenin must live.
We will have justice for the fallen.
You gonna die there?
Sarah says, hi, happy Easter.
Hey, Sarah.
Easter, Sarah.
Help! Up here!
You're gonna die.
No, I'm fine.
Really? Because it says you're at 5% on my screen.
Yeah, me too.
Thank you. I owe you my life. What now?
Well done. We'll make sure Krenin makes it out of the city alive.
We've got Aranus. Fire at will.
For country, for family.
We're left with very few choices. What we do next will be a critical decision.
Trust your instincts. Make it past the gates into Duskhaven. We'll be safe. The eastern mountains are virtually impassable.
We need to keep the Worgen's attention in the city again. It's the only shot we have for the survivors to make it to Duskhaven.
I'll stay behind with the Royal Guard, Father. It's my duty to Gilneas.
Not a chance, boy. Gilneas is going to need its king's undivided attention. Can't have your father wondering whether his child is alive or not. My men and I will hole up inside the Lightstone Cathedral. I've already given the order, and the cannons are on their way. Lead our people well, again.
We were fools to take up arms against each other, Darius. The Worgen would have never stood a chance.
You don't have to do this. You've done more than enough already. But if you decide to stay, I'd be a fool to turn you away. My men have fortified their position inside the cathedral and are ready for what comes next. I'm about to head there and take as many of these flea-ridden devils with me as I can. You're welcome to come along for the ride.
Let's round up as many of them as we can. Every Worgen chasing us is one less Worgen chasing the survivors.
Something really interesting of note, the chapel we're going to, Lightstone Chapel, is where the first paladins were created.
Really?
Yep.
Huh.
Oi.
Brace yourself, here they come. The time has come. If we're going to put a dent in their numbers, the time is now. We have the position. We have the firepower. All that remains to be seen is whether we have the courage. And I sure don't see a coward standing in front of me.
That's enough gabbing for me today. I got a bad feeling.
You've done well. You did more than could be asked of any Gilnean. We're running low on ammunition. It's time to regroup inside now. You had enough ammunition to carry on the civil war for another month. Yet the Worgen's numbers are such that we're nearly spent. We don't want to be caught out here in the open when that happens. Fall back inside the cathedral and report to the boss. I'm sure old Crowley will know what to do next.
Keep your chin up, eh?
We do what we must.
We've given them everything we have, yet still they come. Do not worry, we'll slay many more before today is over. We've got a good choke point here. Feel free to say a prayer if that's your sort of thing. Take courage and let's kill these mutts.
We will prevail.
They stopped coming. No, that's not a good thing.
Look at what you've become. Those cursed beasts. They've left you nothing more than just another wretched mongrel. Do you even remember what you did to your friends? Your kind, haunting the wilds unchecked, until we found you. They've kept you alive because they still believe you can be saved. To which I must ask, is there even a shred of humanity left within you? Perhaps we will find out soon enough.
Need you to pull through. This dosage is strong enough to kill a horse. But I know you. I know what you're made of. You'll be fine. Trust me. I know what you're going through. Now, drink up and close your eyes. So, Crenan's potion did not kill you. Well, I suppose that means the human inside of you is in control then. Guess I won't be shooting you after all, at least not yet. Go to speak to Crenan Aranis and give him the good news. He's in charge of the house where we keep your kind. Just remember, I got my eyes on you. You so much as try anything funny, and you'll get a bullet between the eyes.
Well met.
It worked. By the light, it worked. Ah yes, the effects of the curse can never be fully cured, as far as we know. With treatment, however, your mind will remain yours, and not that of a wild animal. We are fortunate that the treatments worked on you. Normally, I can only treat recent infections. We'll need to continue your medication if we're going to have to reverse the curse. I will need mandrake essence to brew another batch of my serum for you. You will find a crate stashed behind a shed southwest of town. The crate has been smashed and the vials inside of it appear to have been broken. A long knife with a skull adornment on its hilt sticks out of the man's ribs. As you look around for clues, you spot a pair of salvage-looking warships at the shore. Gilneas is being invaded. Bring back word to Duskhaven's mayor, Gwen Armstead.
Ain't you a chipper-looking one?
Forsaken? Quick, we must mount a defensive. The reefs have always protected us from a coastal attack. The earthquakes must have opened a passage for the Forsaken ships. Quick, slow down the attackers while I get the rest of the militia ready. I think I can hear the prince and some of our men engaging the Forsaken even as we speak. Look, Brielle, the big fat ones, abominations they're called, they don't go down so easy, so don't tackle them on your own. But I have an idea so crazy it might just work, or it might get you killed if we're not careful, I suppose. There's barrels of gunpowder beneath the sheds and by the windmills. Grab them and toss them right on the abomination's heads. I'll take care of the rest with this trusty old blunderbuss. Oh.
This gonna hurt me. Barrels smell like gunpowder.
Yes, just like old times. I'm going to have to work hard at not shooting you, but Krenin explained everything to us. You and me, we make a great team. It's good to have you back. We could take it from here. Check in with Mayor Armstead. These are only a small part of the Forsaken forces. If we don't move quickly, we're going to have a bigger problem on our hands. See what you can do to engage the Forsaken in their landing location. Great news. I've sent the remaining militia to the shore to meet the Forsaken force head on. Godfrey is leading the attack near the Forsaken's landing area. See what you can do to help us keep the Forsaken back. I've been told Godfrey has commandeered the storm cellar in the Allen farmstead far to the west. Seek him there.
What now?
The Forsaken are here in full strength. We barely have enough men to hold them back. I'm not going to lie. I don't like the idea of having Worgen among our ranks. Who knows how long till Krenin's concoction wears off and you're trying to chomp one of our heads off. Until that time, however, we can make ample use of your ferocity. I want you to go out in the battlefield and kill as many of those Forsaken as you can, in as brutal a way as you can. We're going to put the fear of the Worgen in them. The Forsaken catapults are kicking the snot out of us. And even if we do take care of them, they've 2 ships with rows of cannons at the ready. I have a plan to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. You're the stone in this plan. Take out the machinists manning the catapults. After this, use the catapults to launch yourself aboard the Forsaken ship. If your aim isn't terrible, you should be able to land safely. Once aboard, go below deck and take care of each ship's captain. Good luck. Oh, I see we get on this and get launched. Do you have to actually land on it, or does it do it automatically?
No, you have to actually aim.
No.
I'm just looking for a catapult. I don't see any.
Oh, there was
there's
one right by where we landed that killed it for you, so you could take it.
Oh, thank you. You know I'm slow with these things.
Yeah. I almost missed, but luckily I landed on the side of the ship and I was able to kind of jump up the side. Excellent work so far. Our scouts have identified the leader of the Forsaken ground assault. One of Sylvanas' hand-picked Dark Rangers is overseeing the battlefront from the Walden house near the shore. Take this whistle and use it when you're close to her. I'll have my men let loose our attack mastiffs to take her down. You did it. That should take the wind out of their sails.
What now?
What in the world was that? Those were not our cannons or catapults, that's for sure. Go outside and see what's going on.
For Gilneas.
The ocean, it swallowed everything. The land, the Forsaken, our men. I was on my way when it happened. No time to waste. A good half of the town watch was in the area that collapsed. Get in there and save as many as you can. Make sure you get them out of the water and onto the shore. I'll make sure they get any aid they need. Yeah, so it's actually destroyed now. This is all underwater where we just were.
Yep.
I thought I was a goner. Thanks.
For Gilneas.
Well, you did what you could. With any luck, others will find their way to shore. We've escaped death through dumb luck, but luck is running out. The coast is becoming flooded even as we speak, and from the look of it, the landmass beneath us hasn't quite settled. I hate to say this, but we have to leave. Curses. I cannot lose my homeland twice in one lifetime. Yet these earthquakes are not an enemy we can defeat. Tell Gwen to start the evacuation.
What can I do for you?
Liam is right. We must get everyone to higher ground. You must help me spread the word while I maintain the logistics of the evacuation. Of course, you remember Lord Darius Crowley's daughter, Lorna. She never quite recovered after losing her father in Gilneas City. She's basically led the life of a hermit. The only visitor she's allowed into her house has been Krenin, and he won't say a word about the whole thing. Send word to her about the evacuation.
Ooh, gonna tame this fox.
Oh, great.
Don't kill it. Don't kill it.
It's attacking you.
Son
I'm
of a
trying to help
gun.
you.
Don't kill it.
What do you mean?
Tame it. Such a troll sometimes.
What is it?
Stay back. Don't make me... Oh, is it you? By the light, it's you. Listen, we're not going to make it very far without transportation, are we? If we just hightail it out of here, the Forsaken will catch up to us in no time at all. Rounding up some horses from the stable grounds southeast of here would normally be a breeze, but there's one snag. The last quake must have spooked Korath, the Aten, down from the mountains. If we don't get our horses soon, I fear that he will. Gonna turn these 3 in and we'll see what happens.
May as well have 3 including 4 including the one I'm riding, so.
We've got the horses. I'll make sure Duskhaven gets them. Saving the horses might have saved the rest of the town. They have plenty of carriages in Duskhaven, but not enough horses to pull them. Go tell Mayor Armstead that the horses you saved are at her disposal. I'll get things ready and join you in a bit. It's time for everyone to head to safety. This includes you. Head to Greymane Manor. The others will be there shortly. Don't worry about me. I'll make sure that everyone makes it out of here in one piece. Yes, even the few ferals we have in the pens. Once you get there, speak to Queen Greymane about the gravity of the situation.
Good day. Gilneas honors your service.
I've heard much about you. I understand you were crucial in my family's survival during the outbreak in Gilneas City. You have to speak to Gen. He's been locked up in his observatory since the whole ordeal started. I'm sure he's working on a plan for his people. He's a very stubborn individual.
For the Alliance.
We owe much to the Alliance.
There you are. I've been expecting you. I got word of your recovery and... Wait, do you feel that? Look at what's become of Duskhaven. Look at what's become of the last safe place in Gilneas.
You have my attention.
We have no choice. We must move further inland. I don't like it one bit, but we're vulnerable here. Return to the stables below the banner. Let's get everyone on carriages and send them eastbound. I pray it's not too late.
My people have endured much.
Look out, we're under attack. Our carriage got hit pretty bad. The ogres got 2 of our stagecoaches. This one and one that fell into the marsh just north of here. I want you to head there and rescue any survivors while we hatch up a plan to deal with these ogres. Forsaken are right on our heels, and now these ogres are trying to flank us. They're servants of the Etten Koroth, the meanest, most destructive force in all of Gilneas. If we could bait Koroth into charging the Forsaken's forward force, we should be able to cover our retreat and buy some time. The only way this can work is if we make Koroth furious. It won't be enough to just kill his minions. We need to swipe his most prized possession, a tiger-skinned banner. Who dares touch Koroth's banner? You puny thief, Koroth find you, Koroth smash you. Pretty good, right?
I like it.
Okay.
You do a good ogre voice.
Yeah.
Or Etten voice.
Etten,
in this
I guess,
case.
yeah. Let's hope this works.
Just in time, friend. Here come the Forsaken. You will come no further, Forsaken scum. By the war banner of our ancient Greymane clan, I expel you from our ancestral lands.
Worthless mongrel. I will order our house cleaned with the rag that you call a banner. Corpse men take Koroth banner. Corpse men get smashed to bits. Our carriage drivers were told to regroup in the fishing town of Stormglen. Our scouts report there might be shelter and supplies to be found there. Meet Gwen Armstead there, and she'll be in charge of taking care of our people. Well, what do you know? All this time and Stormglen's been mostly left intact. It's too bad the Forsaken are still working their way inland, but it'll make a fine place to rest our feet for a night or two. The other half of town is overrun with spiders, so I've asked the villagers to stay away from here. Perhaps you'd like to lend a hand in clearing the spiders out? I'm certain our injured men and women will sleep more soundly if they know someone's keeping those 8-legged beasts at bay.
That's enough gabbing for me today.
Found a journal by a man named Bradshaw. Unfortunately, it's missing many pages, especially towards the end. If you find enough of the pages, I might be able to piece together what happened here after the curse broke out. Who knows, maybe the people in this town found a way out. Maybe there are still survivors out there. Maybe my father is still alive. Spiders, probably not your favorite quest, huh?
Nope. Definitely not. I don't even like receiving a spider as a battle pet.
Really? It sounds similar to a story that I've heard before. I can't remember where it's come from, but there's like a guy who's like very, very scared of bats. And in order to overcome that fright, he has to like embrace the bat as his like moniker, basically. Have you ever heard the story?
I have. That sounds very similar. I refuse to attempt the same thing.
Okay.
I will not become some kind of spiderish man.
What's your story?
You've done well. The spiders are everywhere, however, and I'm afraid we barely put a dent in their numbers. It took a while, but I think I put together what happened here, at least partially. There were survivors of the curse in this town. They joined others in the mountains, in Tempest Reach. Everyone left except the man who kept the journal, old man Bradshaw. He noticed that when the Worgen attacked, had stopped all of a sudden and decided to venture into the Blackwald. There was an abandoned mill just northeast of town. It was where Bradshaw lived. See if you could find any clues there. I've been expecting you. Do not be alarmed. My name is Belisra. I am a priestess of the moon, a night elf. You might not know my people, but the destinies of our two races have been linked since the curse befell you. You must have many questions, and they will be answered in time. I know why you're here and what you're looking for. I can't lead you there with the enemy tracking you. One of Sylvanas' scouts have been following your tracks. You can't lead the Forsaken to the place you seek. Take this talisman and walk along the road just north of here. Let the ranger lure you to her trap and use the power of the talisman to break free and counterattack. How did you... It doesn't matter. I don't need a trap to defeat you. Well done. The scout never had a chance. There are others like you, and they too were lost and confused. There's a place where you belong. Tal'Daren, the wild home, was once an order of druid who took the shape of wolves. It is there that you will find the answers you seek. It is also there that you will find someone who can offer you guidance, an old friend.
We do what we must.
You're all right. I've been waiting for this day for a long time. It truly is great to see you, friend. I've heard of what you've done, and I am thankful, especially for Lorna. She's all I have left. I will send for her right away. The Night Elves have taught us much during this time. They taught us who we are and where we come from. Thanks to them, thanks to this place, we're no longer mere beasts. We have regained free will. The Forsaken aren't here for our land alone. They're looking for something we possess, an artifact capable of uncontrollably spreading the curse to all humanity. We cannot let them find it. Sylvanas' banshees have come very close. Help my trackers take them out. What you know as the curse began is a heresy among our brethren. Faced with a losing battle against demonic forces, the druid of the pack eschewed the balance they were sworn to and allowed the beast to overtake them. They were banished to the Emerald Dream, where they live in eternal slumber under a tree identical to this one, but not before their curse spread to others. Today our ceremony will restore balance to our people. Bring me the leaf that grows only in Tal'Daren's vicinity.
Elune be with you.
We will prevail.
You're as good as I remember. It's good to have you back. Ever since the Forsaken invaded Gilneas, we tried to keep the location of the Scythe of Elune secret. We moved it at night to one of many safe locations. The Dark Rangers got close, but never found it until now. They were last spotted in the Wood's End cabin, west of here. Blow this horn when you find them, and Tobias and his trackers will engage the Dark Rangers. Only then will it be safe for you to venture inside the cabin and take back the scythe. Hurry, it must not reach Sylvanas.
We do what we must.
Do you have the scythe? I knew we could count on you. You've done well. It is time. This alchemy that has kept the beast inside you at bay will not last for long. The first cursed Worgen were night elf druids like our new allies. They, however, abandoned the balance that the rest of their kind embraced and allowed the beast to take over their minds. It is only fitting that their brethren be the ones that deliver us from the curse. Go, warrior. Drink from the waters of Tal'Daren and make peace with yourself. Just as Golden Spirit once blessed our druids, let Fael be blessed by the wisdom of his grace and the ferocity of the wolf god. Just as Dalinir soothes the cursed druids who gave into the beast and abandoned balance, let Tal'Daren soothe Fael. Let the scythe unbind that which was not meant to be bound. Let the soul master the beast, lest the beast master the soul.
We will prevail.
It is done. You are one of us now.
Lorna!
Crowley, you and your elven allies are hereby ordered to serve along the king's army. Cursed or not, you are still bound by Gilnean law.
Does this toad speak for you again? You come to our dwelling as a friend, or do you come as a tyrant?
No, old friend. I've come to you as an equal. Impossible!
Again. It is not law that binds us. It is something far stronger. My men are ready to give their lives under your command.
It is decided then. We will unite all Gilneans and drive the Forsaken from our lands.
It'll be a long time before our nations come together again. The old political divisions pale in comparison to what divides us now. Yet if there was ever a time for us to come together and unite against a common enemy, it is now. And it is you, who have proven able to bridge the gap between our people. Return to Stormglen and tell them it is safe to go through the Black Wall on the way to the Tempest Reach. We will take care of any Forsaken who follow them. King Greymane gave me a brief rundown of the plan before he set off with the Blackwald. Doesn't make it sound any less crazy. I will do as Darius asked and have our people move through the Blackwald. You ought to catch up with King Greymane. He and Creedon went into Tempest Reach after Lord Godfrey confirmed survivors had made their dwelling there. Follow the road out of Stormglen into the mountains. I asked Creedon to wait for you at the bridge before Tempest rests.
Keep your chin up, eh?
We live another day.
They've taken our king. King Greymane has been taken prisoner by Lord Godfrey in Tempest Reach. He managed to convince 2 of the Eastern Lords to go with his plan. The fool seems to think he can strike a deal with the Forsaken by turning Greymane over to them. Listen carefully. We need to resolve this with as little bloodshed as possible. This potion will allow you to sneak in undetected. We need you to assassinate the traitorous lord before they get out of hand. This guy's only a baron, though, so he's not going to be any real threat.
Yeah. Not a king or anything.
He's no duke, yeah.
I hear they have a good basketball team.
Not this year. Maybe next year. It's over, Godfrey. You have no support left among the Eastern Lords.
I'd sooner die than have one of your kind for a king.
We can't rest on our laurels, however. We found out about a mining town currently under Forsaken occupation. We sent some of my men, along with Crowley's daughter, to the nearby livery stables to begin operations there. Liam should be joining them shortly. I'll stay here and organize the final push for Gilneas City. Speak to Lord Hewell to secure a horse to get you there.
Stand strong, hero.
glad to have you here. We're surrounded by Forsaken on all sides and can use all the help we can get. We recently found out that the villagers at Emberstone survived most of the ravages of the curse. Unfortunately, their village wasn't as fortunate when it came to the Forsaken invasion. The Forsaken have taken the villagers prisoner and are forcing them to work the nearby mine as slaves.
It seems like there's a lot of unnecessary largeness to this map. I always thought that they should do something with this whole area.
It feels like it's trying to be its own continent or something. Like, look at this mine. This is a very detailed mine for, what, 1 quest? 2 quests, I guess, total, yeah.
Yep.
It's very strange.
Tag him! Tag him!
Oh, yeah. You've done it again. The freed villagers are eager to help us against the Forsaken in any way they can. The people are free, but the town is still occupied by the Forsaken. They're cut off from their main force, so if we're to drive them out, now's our chance. Their leader, Executor Cornwell, is known for his unbound recklessness. Also among them is Valnov the Mad, a so-called scientist who carries out inhuman experiments on villagers too old to work the mines. Take care of them all. I'll tell you, it's only ever from the opposite faction side that you ever see, like, undead who are, like, insane, right? Like, do you feel like that? Like,
yeah.
As a Horde player, I've never heard of somebody named Valnov the Mad, a so-called scientist. It's like, what are you talking about? It's like, sounds like propaganda. What is that?
Will it help if I put kill command on my bars?
Yeah, that's a good command to give your pet. Especially when you're fighting a guy named Valnov the Mad. That was just Professor Putricide as well, by the way. Like how... and that's clearly not a Forsaken character. Come on, man. That's pretty silly.
I think the idea is that it's how far Sylvanas is going, because now she's got those, whatchamacallit, things with wings on her side and all that kind of stuff. Oh, you know, the Valkyr. That's
Valkyr, yeah. I think you meant bats. We have the people of Emberstone on our side now, thanks to you. The time has come. We've rallied and armed every available Gilnean. It is time to meet the enemy head-on. Time to settle the score with Sylvanas and her Forsaken dogs, once and for all. Liam is heading the assault from the gate. King Greymane and my father are leading the assault on the other districts. You have a crucial role to play in this as well. Take this rapier. Use it to inspire our men and women in combat. Speak to Krenin Aranis to take part in the battle for Gilneas City.
How wrong they are! We will fight them in the fields until the last trench collapses and the last cannon is silenced! We will fight them on the streets until the last shot is fired! And when there is no more ammunition, we'll crush their skulls with the stones that pave our city! We will fight them in the alleys until our knuckles are skinned and bloody and our rapiers lay on the ground shattered! And if we find ourselves surrounded and disarmed, wounded and without hope, we will lift our heads in defiance and spit in their faces! But we will never surrender! For Gilneas!
So strong! Use the cannonballs to bring him down! Let us join your father's forces there. They'll need our help against Sylvanas.
Let's see how brave Gilneas gets on without its stubborn leader. Such a waste. That arrow's poison was not meant to be wasted on your whelp. We'll meet again, Gen.
Make it quick.
We've driven the Forsaken back. We held 3 out of the 4 districts. But at what cost? It's true then. Gilneas has lost her favorite son. We will mourn when this is all over, but not a day sooner. We will not allow ourselves the luxury of grief while the enemy still breathes Gilnean air. My father's men are ready to strike while we still have the Banshee Queen's trail. Just say the word if you're ready. Liam deserves swift vengeance. Let's go at once. We will track Sylvanas down. Let's do our best to not be seen. Make sure everything is ready. The Orc's emissary is ready to meet Sylvanas inside the cathedral. Did you hear that? Sylvanas is headed to the cathedral. Let's hurry. Quick, hide in the water.
It appears you're losing control of Gilneas, Sylvanas. Garrosh fears he's going to have to carry out this invasion himself.
You can assure Garrosh that this is a minor setback. Our victory in Gilneas will be absolute.
You sound very confident, Your Majesty. I seriously hope you do not plan to use the plague. Garrosh has explicitly forbidden it.
You do well to watch your tone, General. Neither you nor Garrosh have anything to worry about. We've ceased all production of the plague, as he ordered. We'd never deploy it without his permission.
I will deliver my report to our leader, then. By
Go
your
with
leave,
honor,
my
General.
lady.
My lady, should I order my men to stop the deployment of the plague? Or are we to continue as planned?
What kind of question is that? Of course we're deploying the plague, as planned. Let the Gilneans enjoy their small victory. Not even their bones will remain by tomorrow.
As you wish.
The plague, huh?
Yep.
Brush up on wrath, I think.
Explicitly forbidden by Garrosh, because, you know, he spent so much time in Northrend and all that, but
yeah,
don't think she cares.
Doesn't sound like it. Yeah.
What is it?
The plague. Something so heinous that not even the orcs condone its use? I say this warrants notifying King Greymane. Tell Greymane we have trackers on Sylvanas and tell him about the plague. The decision will be his. Launch an all-out attack against the leader of the Forsaken or try to evacuate our survivors.
Our curse is also
You present me
our
with the most
greatest
difficult
gift.
choice of my life. As much as I want to exact swift and brutal revenge, I must honor my son's memory first. He cared for his people first and foremost. The Undertaker's Pass goes underground below Northgate River. You must prevent the plague from being deployed while we evacuate our men, women, and children to Aderic's repose. We captured one of the Forsaken's dreaded bombing bats. I want you to fly the infernal beast as best you can and unleash hell upon those who seek to bring the plague to our people. You must hurry.
Gilneas will prevail.
That was quick.
Well, there were 2 of us doing it.
Yeah, it seems ridiculously quick, though.
I'm good at bombing missions, honestly. I don't fall asleep in them. I'm not British.
It took me a while to get that. Yeah. Don't think that has anything to do with being British.
Probably not.
What news do you bring?
You've done well. Almost everybody managed to make it through. It's time to pack it in. Most of our people have made it through. It's your turn now. Take this torch. You're going to need it. The tunnel is full of nasty, knee-biting critters of the worst kind. Use it to keep them at bay. Speak to Krenin on the other side.
The Alliance must endure.
Well met.
You're here. Most everyone made it through, but now we're stuck here, surrounded by our own dead. In our hurried escape for safety, we disturbed the resting homes of our ancestors, a grave sin, if you'll pardon the pun. It is a tradition that a small memento be buried on top of Gilneas's graveyard, beneath the shallow earth. The stampede of people fleeing the tunnels had unearthed these mementos and angered the spirits. Find them and bring them to me. We'll see to it that the dead return to their eternal slumber. Thank you. Let us hope this works. You've done it. Even in these times we must honor our dead. Take these offerings and place them at Aderic's tomb. Let us hope that it's enough to placate the ghosts of our ancestors.
May the light bless the spirits of our ancestors, for they've chosen to allow my son to rest upon this holy ground. It is here, surrounded by the heroes and patriots of Gilneas, where he belongs.
You were a true man of the people, Liam. Unlike any royal I've ever met. We'll make them pay for this.
Gilneas will remember your courage forever, Liam.
We'll return, Liam. I swear this to you.
Well met.
It's done. The dead return to their slumber. We might have lost our city, but at least it looks like the dead have forgiven us. Meet with the rest of the survivors in Kiel Harbor. I'm sure there's plenty to do before we're in the clear. Gen hasn't arrived yet, so I suppose Lord Crowley will be in the charge there. It's good to see you again. The Night Elves made good on their promise. They brought ships and are ready to offer us sanctuary in their lands. Unfortunately, the Forsaken's allies have arrived as well. The orcs are advancing upon us, while the Horde gunship prevents the transport ships from taking our people to safety. The druids are holding the enemy back, but they won't last long. Fortunately, the elven ships were carrying siege weapons. Take one of the glaive throwers and meet the enemy head-on.
We do what we must.
It's almost over. Only one obstacle remains between us and survival. We need to get rid of that flying gunship if our people have any chance of escaping. Here's the plan. Heel Harbor had its share of rebel sympathizers in the old days. I've managed to round up a hefty amount of incendiary explosives from one of our storehouses. We're going to hit the enemy with a small force, small enough to fly undetected. The Night Elf Hippogriffs should do the trick. Tobias will give you the signal when we're ready to go.
Attack!
Can we though?
I just did, yeah.
Because I can't.
No?
I
With
want
like invisible
two
walls.
sharpshooters to stay behind and cover the deck.
No,
Everyone
you'll be
else,
downstairs, looks
use
like.
the ropes to rappel down. Let's give them hell.
Oh, yeah.
Hands up, greenskins! My men will give you your new bearing. You try anything funny, and we'll fill you with lead. The rest of you, follow me downstairs. We've got the explosives in the furnace room. Just hold them off now. That's one big orc.
Okay, 100% not a part of the Horde, this creature, right?
No. It's like that one in that one dungeon from Cata.
Yeah, this is like a TV, or like a Bellord kind of thing, I don't know.
Raz, I think it was. Raz Smash.
Right.
Remember that.
It's about to blow. Jump on the wyverns. Make it quick.
We did it. We've started the evacuation. If we leave soon, we'll leave the Forsaken fleet in the dust. Everybody on board the ships now. We did it. We're saved. Are you ready to set sail? Your people have been granted shelter in the Isle of the Kelderai. Do not worry, Worgen. Your people will get a chance to fight for Gilneas again, this time with full strength of the Alliance. So this is it, our new home. I'm not sure if I'll ever feel like I truly have a home again. We mustn't be unappreciative of what the Night Elves have offered us, though. The race is not one to throw out idle welcomes to just anyone. It is a true testament to faith and generosity that they've taken us in. Wen and Greymane are in the city proper, at the Howling Oak. You should stop by. Take the portal beneath the tree north of us, then seek out the Howling Oak in the northern portion of the city. Good evening. Princess Tarand, We did not expect you. Good evening. I hope my people have been welcoming to you. These are burdened times, so I fear much may be completing with their good graces. Not at all, priestess. We are very grateful for all that you have offered us here. When we spoke previously, you offered to repay the favor. I may have to act on that sooner than I would have liked. There is trouble at Lordanil, a village of ours across the water from Rutherin. If any of our people can be spared, I fear war encroaching upon us in Kalimdor. I know the perfect people for such a task. I will send them immediately, priestess. Thank you again. I am glad to see such poise and composure from your people. Perhaps your curse does not define you after all. We will take our leave. Again, welcome to all of you. Yeah, because Malfurion was the one who banished those druids, so that was kind of a bigger deal than they made it seem right there. It seems you have your first charge. You must travel back down to Rutherin village, where we first arrived, and speak with Vocifertus to secure a ride to Lordanil. Once in Lordanil, aid the Night Elves in any way you are able. I am trusting you to treat them with the reverence that they deserve in light of all that they have done for us. I must travel to the distant city of Stormwind to meet with King Anduin. I hope to see your face again very soon. Until then, a fond farewell.
Gilneas will prevail.
Our allies have come to our aid? Thank Elune. Tran was wise to extend open arms to your people. We need help. We need everyone we can get. That's it. Okay, so what'd you so let's do a little recap here. So I did Duskwood. The Worgen situation that's going on in Duskwood perhaps has been retroactively tethered to this zone. Now that I've done it, I understand it's certainly not. It's like kind of retconned or whatever you would say, but they did a great job with it. It's all because of the Scythe of Elune, which I don't know if it was in Classic, right? It is mentioned in Classic. There's a storyline that has been removed from Duskwood, where you travel from Night Elf lands to Duskwood and talk to, actually it's one of the guys who ends one of the quest lines now. His family apparently is something to do with the Scythe of Elune. So that was what walked me down this path. I knew some of the characters were going to exist in this storyline. I did not know how it was going to play out. And all that stuff was great. The stuff with the Worgen was excellent. I was very satisfied with seeing how those characters, the Night Elf kind of been introduced. But now that I've done it, I understand, there was kind of like, they kind of forced it together. There's a whole comic for it. Maybe I'll check that out someday. But so tell me what you know about the rest, like the stuff that's going on in Silverpine, like you were saying.
Okay, so the whole idea of Silverpine is Garrosh. It's kind of where it starts. Garrosh tells Sylvanas to now that the wall is down and they have access to there, they cannot abide by an alliance kingdom being there, because Silvermoon's there and Undercity's there. They need to secure Northern Lordaeron and the northern part of the continent. So he says, you've got to go and do this. He says, but I'm watching you, Sylvanas, you tricky little girl. And he, sends one of his generals to watch her, make sure she doesn't use the plague. And of course, that general dies early on, and she proceeds through it. And there's this whole part where those guys that we killed because they didn't want to be Worgen, Sylvanas has us resurrect them. And eventually they betray her and they go off to the dungeon and a whole other side of it. And we kind of progressed through Gilneas because the war is, progressing back and forth and kind of pushing it from the Forsaken side. You get to see stuff like Lorna Crowley is, of course, Gen is here now. Like, he's in Eldrasil and later Stormwind. Crowley's leading a war effort to retake Gilneas. So that's all kind of his side of the story. Retaking that and how
retake Gilneas. Does that take place in Silvermoon? Or in
Silverpine, yeah.
Silverpine, yeah.
They try. But of course, you're working from the Forsaken end of it, so not going to spoil how it ends, but
Yeah, we'll do it at some point. That's very interesting. I didn't recognize. I like those. Okay, so maybe you don't want to answer this, but like I've not seen that character since, so I assume there something goes on climactically there. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nothing that I would say would prevent you from seeing her. So I'm not gonna say she like dies, but there is definitely climactic stuff with Lorna Crowley and Darius Crowley.
That's interesting. And what about Gen's wife? Where did she die too at some point? Did I miss? I'm confused.
In the prelude to Battle for Azeroth, the prelude novel for Battle for Azeroth, they go into the burning of Teldrassil, and of course Gen's wife is in Teldrassil. She never actually went to Stormwind, and so she stayed behind. And if you do the Alliance side of the pre-Battle for Azeroth stuff, that's of course not available anymore. She's standing there and helping people escape through the portals and getting people out till the last second. And if I remember correctly, I could be wrong about this because it's been a while since I've done it. She's actually the last one through the portal, and I don't think she dies, but I think she is very badly injured. There's reasons why Gen hates Sylvanas so bad.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was a little hard to tell maybe if you're watching the footage, but yeah, the big story moment there is that like Gen is fighting Sylvanas. Sylvanas kind of knocks him back, kind of takes control of the situation, and then she's about to kill him, and Gen's son leaps in front of the arrow, which the kind of eventing of the pace there was not great, but I had to do it twice. Yeah, I'm going to edit it all out, obviously, but I had to do it twice just to get it to even be viewable. Because the first time I did it, she shoots the arrow backwards because the NPC is not even close to where he's supposed to be on the script. So I don't know what's going on with that. I'm going to tell you, it was a very frustrating process to get through all of this, but it was such a great zone that I'm happy we did it. And it does sound like there's another zone heavily attached to it, so we'll have to get through that as well. But what can you tell me about the whole Aragorn thing? Like, that was brought up immediately, and it has not been touched on at all since. So what is there any relevance there, or is that just some classic remnant that's just laying around in the game?
I think it's just a classic remnant. From what I understand, and again, there's a Aragorn story is continued in Wrath. Like, there's a part in Northrend where they summon the spirit of Aragorn, and you deal with Worgen in Northrend. And I can't remember exactly what zone it is. I want to say Grizzly Hills, but I could be wrong.
Oh, that makes sense, of course, yeah.
Yeah, because there's a bunch of Worgen there. But I think the back part of it was that Aragorn found a way into the Emerald Dream and started to release some of these wild. That's where his Worgen came.
Huh.
And the Gilneans assumed it was him creating them, but it wasn't.
Very interesting.
Just being able to access, because they had no mental, he was controlling them, right?
Got it.
Again, I could be a bit wrong. That's not something I remember reading anytime recently, but that's my understanding of it.
Yes, it does. I'm looking at it right now. It does seem like there's some heavy stuff going on in Wrath, and then potentially both Cataclysm and Legion has entries. So maybe someday we'll check that out. But yeah, so thanks a lot for walking down this path with me, Cop. It was fun. Glad we had the guide for it. I probably would have missed a lot of the relevance there. So yeah, it's a very interesting zone. It's a little old, a little dated by now, Cataclysm, but it was one of the first. Like, there's some good voice acting, some good story, some good ambience in it. So I'm pretty satisfied.